low ground, up on high ground. Tabs, G, Pledge, and Teo now making one of their biggest appearances today. A team that had been really, really good throughout the qualifier, and they've been consistent today. They're currently in 4th, but just we haven't seen them much. They've just basically placed 10th in every game. It's kind of crazy. 11th, 11th, 10th, 11th, with just a good amount of eliminations at the same time, which has just kind of slowly crept them up the leaderboard. But they haven't done a game that we've actually been able to watch and be like, yes, this is the match. This is it then for us. Tabs G also goes with a huge beam. They are on high ground, coming into the first moving. They have claimed so much space. They have so many materials. They're in such a good position to have one of the best games, if not the best game so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's their time to shine now, and they're going to show us why they've been able to stay as consistent as they have been. Like we mentioned, they have just been pushing top 10, falling a little bit early, but now they finally get end game here. What can they do with it, with this high ground hold? They are starting to run out of material, though. Take a look at Tabs in particular there. He does have very little to no ammunition inside his inventory here, which means they're going to have to possibly give up this high ground, jump on down and take some close range battles where, again, that is where the guns need to do the talking here. What can you do with this shotgun? He only has a gray and a common. There goes a great knock onto Rokane. Can he get the loot? No, the Storm's going to push it on over, and this is it. He's officially running out. Dubs is going to fall too, and Tabs G finds 2 already, and he can actually grab this loot, and there it is. This is going to keep him officially in the game, but no, he did not find ammo. That was all he needed from that.
He didn't even need the mats. He just needed the ammo.
Man.
Unfortunately, that was the only thing he didn't manage to get picked up. But they're still up on high ground. Hopefully, Teo and Pledge have some form of ammo left that they can spray. If not, they'll have enough materials to hopefully keep themselves going deeper into the top 10, into the single-digit placement points. We see so many full trios still alive down below. Acorn, Slacks, and Jack still in this as well. Eclipse's team alongside Bizzle is in there too. We see Jukes, Justice, and Users, a full trio alongside Sentient, Commandment, and Edgy down on the low ground as well.
Yeah, definitely. Klaus is going to get tagged up here by Justice and company on this layer here, but they're going to go in and switch it up. They want to get up and over. Justice officially out of material here. So this is it. This is going to be the final commitment right now. Who on this trio actually has material to push on through? Doesn't look like it's going to be much. Out comes the split here, and all of a sudden, Justice is right back in it. Here goes nothing. Look at how many points they have. This is by far the best team of the day. Justice, Dukes, and Users have been phenomenal, and they're continuing to push on through teams. Down goes Agers, another player that absolutely needs this top finish, but they're shutting that down. They're pushing back all the competition here. There is no resistance in front of this team right now.
4 eliminations total under Justice, 7 on the full trio right now. A beautiful layer claim for them to just continually tarp on, opening the floors out to see Spegu down below. So many teams getting picked up down on the low ground by Scented, Commandment, and Edgy at the same time. Lazar goes down to Edgy. Scented actually gets picked up by Spegu, but Commandment goes back to Klazu, and Edgy also finishes that next elimination too. So there's tons going down on low ground. Justice now popping off with more eliminations on this low ground, and mid layer 2, he's up 4. Jukes now has 3. 8 eliminations total for the full team, consistently getting refresh after refresh to keep them moving and on high ground. Pledge, Teo, and Tabs G are still holding the power position with no AR ammo. Those 2 shots he had just did not go very far.
Yeah, definitely. He's just trying to hold on at this point. The high ground team has no ammunition. Jack's going to fall to the storm there. Down goes Duke. Users and Justice within the top 5 to the hands of Edgy, Commandment on the low ground. Slacks is still up here. Edgy's going to win that one too, though. Edgy's just been on fire today. And now we're looking at a 2v2 endgame. The low ground team once again might be looking to turn this one around here and get this Victory Royale finish. Commandment's going to crank on up. Low ground peak, no heal. Down to the storm he goes. And just like that, Tabs G manages to win it out because they had the Chug Cannon, a win condition there, and he didn't even need ammunition to do it.
Yeah, usually on that low ground, we will see Scented, Commandment, and Edgy have medkits. They nearly always have medkits in their inventory, which usually held by Commandment. But unfortunately, he was the one who went down earlier, so they lost those medkit plays out without that ability to play the heal off then. And even though there was a double chug cannon on high, I think they probably still would have lost it, given obviously the double chug cannon so much better than just playing a single medkit. But at the same time, they had to go up, they had to make the play. And a second, following the fact that they just came first in the previous game, is absolutely huge for them.
Yeah, for sure. And not to mention, that's the second time now we've seen a team take high ground, hold it all the way out nice and early, and this time they did it with no ammo. So it's just, again, showing that the lobby, they're not looking to do their high ground retakes. Nothing crazy here. But Zeke, we're going to toss it on over to you and the guys, because we need the standings. We need everything. We need to get caught up.
Thank you guys so much. Fantastic as always. My goodness, Tabs and company pick up the victory out 7 eliminations. Now, I want to give all the congratulations to Tabs G. However, it didn't quite go that way, right? Edgy and Commandment, the damage is done. A second place, 11 elimination. That is absolutely terrifying. It may not have been the victory royale, but you're looking at 22 points on Elims alone. However, Vivid, they're doing it again. They're holding down. Okay, this feels super reminiscent of an Arkham Rex and Epic Whale to me. Like, I feel like the same thing happens in West. We're like, oh, we never see these guys, but they're always on top. And for Duke, Justice, and Users, they're flying beneath our radar. But it's like you kind of said earlier, Vivid, it's like we're aware of what they're doing.
Yeah, those dudes are doing absolutely amazing up there at the top. Commandment, Scented, and Edgy are finding their groove though, right? First place, followed by a second place. And you guys really got to pay attention. I'm telling you, if Scented, Edgy, and Commandment are alive, you know, production always does a great job of doing these panovers of, you know, how the end game is going from like a wide angle. And if you watch, that is the second game in a row where Scented, Edgy, and Commandment have taken out Dukes, Justice, and Users on the low ground. These boys are here to play. They're like, listen, we are here. We found our groove. You guys are not controlling the low ground anymore, and we are just taking everybody out. Watch when production pans over from these wide angles and just watch the eliminate. Watch these boys just rack up these eliminations on the low ground as they take it. It is phenomenal to watch, especially from that wide angle, because I watched it happen that game, and it's just so amazing to see second place taking out first place as they find their groove.
Yeah, they really have done incredibly well the last 2 games. I'm not no surprise they're in the top 3 now. But a big shout out to Dukes, Justice, and Users again. At this point, they've actually equaled the record for the most time in FNCS finals spent at the top of the leaderboard right now. This being, I think, their 4th game being in the top spot, which is incredible to see. 40 eliminations, 109 placement points, breaking into that triple digits placement points, and 108 times, still 48 points in the lead right now. It's getting very exciting and stuff. But, you know, I should ask you, Commandment, Scented, and Edgy, this is a trio that you've chosen to win FNCS finals. Tell us why they are such a good trio, because they just seem unstoppable right now.
Yeah, gonna have a great time looking over some footage from the last game, not the one that we just watched, but the one previous to that, because these guys, the main thing that separates them from every other trio is cohesion, in my opinion. As you can see, I wanted to take a look at this push. This is actually when they took out Dukes, Users, and Justice. You can see all 3 of them are on these walls at the same exact time. They go in, they press this box at the exact same time, they get in, and instantly catch this team off guard because there's just 3 people automatically in the box. Now, I want to just highlight this again because these guys, this was the first game where they took these boys out. And like I said, they are dominating the low ground. They're here. They're letting Dukes, Users, and Justice know that they are here to play. And then again, on the cohesion, I want you guys to pay attention to Edgy, Scented, and Commandment, how they have their shotguns out at the same time. However, if you look over here, Knife Fishy, he actually has his builds out. He's placing those 3 walls that you see placed right now, right? Edgy, Scented, and Commandment. Even though Scented has about 14 builds right now, he doesn't build. The call right here is to have your shotgun out and fight this. The fact that all 3 of them have their shotguns out and they are fighting it means that they have the edge, because Knife Fishy actually put his builds out and lost some like DPS, some damage per second, because he went to build instead of fight like Scented, Edgy, and Commandment did.
I love the masterclass, Vivid. It's fantastic. It's so good. I love it. The very Vivid masterclass continues to just blow us out of the water. Incredible stuff. We got a spotlight here as well. Very quickly, Dukes, Justice, and Users. Eliminations versus top 10. 28 of those. 10 plus eliminations game. 2 out of 5. Top 10 games. 4 out of 5 eliminations versus different teams. 19 making their way through the leaderboard. Incredible to see. I mean, so much to celebrate right now. There's just so much going on.
Dude, I know, and there's so much more that I would love to talk about, but you heard the battle bus beep beep. Today is moving quick. One final game on day number 1. How will this all unfold, and what will this set the stage going into tomorrow? Let's find out. Fortnite fam. MDF Reese, take it away.
I'll be honest, I can't believe we're already swinging on into the final game of the day 1 here of the finals of the FNCS. I mean, so far, you know, so good for the boys at the top. But man, will Users, Duke, and Justice here be able to hold this one out here, Reese? They have such a strong lead, but the vets, man, they're trying to catch up, right? Slacks, Acorn, Jack, and forth. You got Commandment, Sense, and Edgy on their heels. Tabs, G, Teo, and Pledge, they've been here before. They've been making these finals. They're doing better and better now as they continue to make their reappearances. So, I mean, it's still a competition on our hands.
We still got a competition in our hands indeed. I mean, honestly, when it comes to Jukes, Justice, and users, I just can't find a weakness in their gameplay right now. Their ability to frag and be consistent in placement is crazy. Like, they have 8 average eliminations, the next highest being 5.4, and their best average placement is 5.2, the next highest being 9.8. So, like, they're infinitely better almost when it comes to average eliminations and average placement at the same time. So, for Jukes, his team, like, how does someone beat this? Like, Commandment sent Ned placing and going for first. Like, you know, there's the meme of Sent and Edgy Commandment placed in second, and they placed second in the last 3 FNCS finals. And honestly, it's currently looking like that's already set up to happen.
And the other very impressive thing to look at is Dukes, Justin, and users, they've actually picked up a victory out today. So they're, you know, very deserving of their #1 spot right now.
No doubt.
All of our teams inside the top 4 have actually gotten a win, which is not something we usually get to see, right? More often than not, a team gets pop-off victory and they slip out. And then you see the teams that are consistent, but no, we're watching consistency. Winning teams and everything in between just kind of hold up right now for the first set of games. Even Safkanot and Stretcher just outside the top 5. I mean, they're right in that conversation here. And that's the thing about these 2-day finals, right? That you have that second day to come back, hit the drawing board. I mean, teams like this is kind of our muse for the early game at this point now. Elsa, Bully, and Bank, you know, they're going to hit the drawing board, but we know they're not going to change anything, right? They're just going to continue to fight at this point. I mean, it's kind of distracting.
We know what the storyline is for this, I think. You know, Bucky, Clicks, alongside Creo, like, you know, they're in 31st. Bully's team's in 29th. This fight is just for fighting's sake now, I think, at this point. You know, they're just going to keep doing it. We see Bucky just disengaging, leaving Clicks behind as a solo in there. I'm just trying to figure out which way that's going to go, you know? I'm trying to figure out where he's going to what he's going to manage to do in this match.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they got to do something here, but Skittles, Ages, and Degen do have a tournament run on their hands and one that they want to hold on to. Skittles tries to go for the call to get out, but Ages and Degen not there to follow up, so... Communication, they get back with one another. Collazo, Trashy, and Lazar end up giving up the battle here. Now, mind you, this is a fight that has not really gone the distance between the two. Probably one of the first time they've actually full clashed like this, because we haven't seen Skittles, Agers, and Degen based up this early, still here at this drop spot. More often, we see them already outside the zone, maxing out material, possibly at the bridge. But now they have to rotate south. Now that the game's coming to, I guess, the closing instances, right? This is where fatigue sets in. This is where players get a little more desperate.
Yeah, they definitely need to start making something happen. You know, if you're Collazo's team at that point, looking for eliminations is really good. Because they're 14th, right? 14th, this team is really, really good at the same time. And, you know, if they can get a couple easy eliminations onto Dgen's team early on, 3 points, and they keep flying up the leaderboard, too, at the same time. You know, I think they're only 4 points behind actual Dgen's team right now. So both teams, like I said, splitting this POI, still doing a really good job of it overall, actually managing to keep gaining points, right? You know, a lot of times we've seen these contested teams just not doing so well. Like Bucky's team right now is sitting behind the door. The full box comes out onto the opposing player, but the full shots don't come through at the same time. And eventually, I think these contesting teams, the fighting team, is going to realize that Bucky is just a solo with 100 HP. He's dropped down into the box, and he is picked up. A valiant effort, I may say, for Dgen, Agers, and Skittles, but hide and seek's not going to work out too well for him.
Yeah, how generous of Bucky to donate the 2 points to Skittles, Degen, and Agers, who really needed to get inside the top 10. That's going to officially jump them on up. Now officially tied for Aspect, Kaz, and Fishy's 8th place spot there. Back over to where things are also getting interesting here for Scope, Blake, and Okis, who are inside the top 10 right now. We haven't seen much of their early game battles, and look at this. Scope still showing us he's got it.
Still showing he's got it indeed. Picking up Chucky, who had been, I think, contesting in Sweaty. They said they'd moved their drop spot there. Not as claimed up on the high ground. I see Nexy's team pushing in, who has struggled a lot of spawns so far. So they've clearly managed to get off their spawns point. Not potentially as a solo here. I'm not sure where Iomzo is. Oh, Iomzo's right there. I'm blind, apparently. They're right next to each other in a 2v2 situation. As we see Nexy's team, like I mentioned, a full trio. Looking like they might want to push this fight. If they're hearing these shots consistently go on, this could be their opportunity to move on in.
Yeah, definitely now. Things are starting to heat up here. Back with Edgy Commandment. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to swing back to Scope. Scope's down to 10 HP. Another team's going to roll on through. That's what we're talking about here. Danger always lurking nearby. Mind you, these are their builds. He takes advantage of that. Great edit there, but no, Okis gets caught out. And now Scope's trying to see if he can actually exit, but there's another team out there as well. He senses those fresh builds too. This is just rough. Now this is really a bad spot to be in. It was looking okay. It was looking recoverable for a second there, salvageable, but I'm not sure anymore.
And he was so hesitant for that medkit. You could see he could hear the opposing players around him. He just didn't want to pop it because that audio cue will come out and those opponents will know he's weak here. He has that car in. If I'm him, I'm looking, can I get these cards? Can I get this car? And can I get out of here? You know, trying to disengage from this absolute madness that's in the fight as you see tons of these bills now on fire going down as Sprite and Gabe right next to each other. Scope just sitting inside this box, trying not to do anything. Okay, they've been spotted. Here he comes. It's down. The shots have already traded out. He's been tagged, and he is almost instantly picked up as the full trio assessed his location and just triple sprayed from that beautiful pinch. Now they've also managed to get that car. It would seem like, well, no, it's gone. They don't want to pick up that at all, and they're just going to get out of there from now on as they move over to Commandment and Edgy, who are in a very, very nice spot.
Yeah, and just a worst-case situation for a top 7 team to get in an early game fight in Storm number 1, and then you know cross the caliber of like a Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite who's on a third party. So just again, unlucky, unfortunate. But that is it. That's going to be wraps. This is finals, guys. Day 1, last game of the day. All of these games matter. Where you end up tonight is important to your jumpstart tomorrow to see how you are going to be able to close out this 2-day tournament. 12 games of Fortnite in front of us. I mean, Commandment, Edgy, Sensitive proven that they can come back from even the worst starts. Their first 3 games, you know, pretty bumpy road. The last 2, exceptional. All of a sudden now, right back inside the swing of things here, holding a strong second place right now. I'm curious though, like I said before, though, Reese, you know, where is Duke, Users, and Justice? How are they going to play this one out?
They are. I'm sure they're doing fine. Let's be real. I'm confident they are still in it, in the running right now, coming into game number 6. Like, the way that they've positioned themselves ahead of the rest of the lobby with their points right now, like, again, I'm just not seeing that weakness. I'm not seeing them taking a fight they don't need to. I'm not seeing them put themselves in a position that they can't get themselves out of. I'm just seeing such clinical gameplay when it comes out of them, and honestly that's going to be so hard to beat even for a team like Commandment, Sent, and Edgy. You know, we have this game to play out, we have the remainder of the 6 games tomorrow, but at the end of the day you got to remember, if one game they slip up, if Jukes' team slips up one single match and Sent's team keeps that consistency up, they can fly over it, they can claim that first place.
Yeah, that's the thing. Duke, Users, and Justice basically have a full buffer of a round in front of them, 40 points ahead of anyone that can, again, their next best competition, right, of Sensitive, Edgy, and Commandment. That's not including just, it gets even worse as things start to stack and jump down. So they have such a lead right now. Back over at Teo, Tabs, G here, and Pledge, who have just been playing a great set of games so far today. They did win game number 2, like we talked about before, one of the few teams that are up there, you know, picking up these victory royales. And again, they have been inside the top 10 or just inside or almost the top 10 round after round, playing very consistent, not really dropping a beat, making all their end games. And I'm curious, right, because these are teams that this team in particular is not contested at all, but they found their surge. They haven't been victims to the surge the way like Sav, Stretch, and Kanata have been, let's just say, you know, in game number 2 or game number 3 there.
Indeed, and that just shows that they have the plan laid out. Like, they have the understanding. And Storm Surge, like we mentioned, has really been a bit weird for this lobby, because remember, in game 1 and 2 was so super stacked. Game 3 was chaotic, to say the least, with so little players alive. That first threshold didn't even come through, and now the players have kind of figured out their game plan, so they've slowed down a little bit. That means the games have gotten a little bit more stacked again. You know, we're back up to a normal gameplay, right, where we're looking for tons of Storm Surge tags, like Users teams situating themselves up here in this great split where they've claimed so much of this mid-map hills and just focusing the teams from Lazy that are rotating on in. This is kind of the more NA East gameplay we're used to seeing.
Yeah, but not really used to seeing in the last game of a finals day. Like
Well,
even, I feel like even in finals,
game 6 of 12, though, you know.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's still even on the 2-day formats. That last game, like I said, fatigue typically tends to set in, but yeah, the players are showing up. I think heavy resilience right now and being very consistent, sticking to the game plan. So it does excite me for the 2-day format to see teams trying all the way through to the very end. I'd say the only one game was that game 3, like we mentioned, or if there was a game where you looked at like what would happen here. Every team tries something different. They were
That's the adjustment,
way
though.
aggressive. Yeah, it was the adjustment. It was like, all right, this is a little too tight on the string here. Had to loosen up a little bit to get the tune right, and now we're right in tune.
Yeah, beautiful, right? You know, that's actually interesting that we saw so many teams doing that at the same time. So
Same
many
time.
teams made that adjustment. Now it's all back to that solidified gameplay. They know exactly what they're doing. Same with like guys like Bizzle's team. They haven't really changed up much. They've just been kind of wading through the contestation that they've had most of the games. It seems like now this 0 eliminations, which makes me think that they've not been contested off spawn this time. They've managed to play out a gameplay that are much better. You know, Bizzle, a player who is significantly better when contested overall. You know, we've seen season after season that once he's uncontested, he can perform so well. So this game, he's getting himself in a much better spot, in particular with Surge, everything else, they're looking good. Users team, it looked like they were going for a little W key onto Avery just quickly before as we swapped off, has now not picked up an elimination, but moved pretty drastically on their positioning into not the best spot. If you notice how many teams are going to have to rotate through.
Yeah, definitely. And take a look at the stat here, because these are the boys finding all the elims in the lobby respectively across the board as well. Dukes, Justice, and Users are in 1st, 2nd, and 4th for total individual elims, just showing that they are each carrying their own weight and on fire here. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned is the fact, yes, that does say Twitter, Users FN, Twitter, Dukes FN. Check the guys out, all right? Listen, they're doing it right. We like to promote when the boys are doing it right. This is about as good as we can, imagine any team to be, especially for Fortnite. We've all been through some wacky names here. So check the boys out. Show them some love, show them some support. Oh, no. Talking about that, though, Reverse 2K and Miro end up getting just crossed out here in the last game. Struggling today to really find their footing here, and it's showing right now that they're having a tough time.
Yeah, I've seen Miro mention how not playing any of the qualifiers and not having good scrims has basically made them struggle a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They're definitely out of practice. And, you know, when it came to the Cash Cups, it didn't seem like they're out of practice, but this is a whole different kettle of fish at the end of the day. This is the finals. This is the most difficult games you're going to be playing all season, and there's 12 of them lined up. So far, day 1 has not been going their way at all. Hopefully, we can see it kind of turn around for day number 2. We can see them potentially get some more eliminations, which we're very capable. We could see those, 15, 16 elimination games that, they're known for popping off in day number 2 and see them fly further up leaderboards. It would be very, very tough to see them take first after this game so far, though, after the way that day 1's been playing out.
Yeah, they're going to need to really pop off here. And remember, teams are still fighting for top 3 minimal, right? So you can punch your way through to the next finals as well. It's always something to think about. At the end of the day, there's a few things on the line here outside of the cash prize and the pride of actually being the #1 team on the region. It is, of course, punching your way to that next finals, getting that full ticket there. Users, Justice, and Dukes, I mean, they're going to be there. I think we've seen enough at this point to know that, hey, these guys are going to be up there somewhere for sure this season. Definitely all that practice, all that hard work coming through for them. You love to see a team find their stride here, especially on the final stage, especially doing it big when it matters most. Mind you, that's a grinding team. This is a team that's been around for a long time, guys. They're just finally starting to get their day in the sun here today.
Absolutely. And, the only way I could see them not doing so well in this next day is if, things really change up. People Vodru, they figure out what's going on. But hold on a second. Kanata, Sapin stretched down again in the 3rd zone. That is, I think, 2 games in a row that we've seen the same thing. If they either make it to the end game, play high, and do extremely well, or it's just wraps with them losing these mid-game fights. It's happened multiple times today. I think that may actually be the 3rd time I've seen them. So 50% of their matches that they've managed to lose mid-game fights like that. Be it they want to be fighting or not, if they're being pushed by these teams. But not winning those is really tough for them, and that is actually definitely going to impact their leaderboard a lot.
The crazy thing is, Dukes uses Injustice. They walked in, wiped up Sap, Stretch, and Kanata, and just ran out like nothing happened. They don't even want the
They're
loot.
gone.
They don't want to sit there. They're like, nah, dude, you guys aren't even in the zone. Like we're done with you. They're already gone. They were there for too long. So it does make you wonder, like, what was the strategy? Why were they sitting around lingering so long in the edge of storm? It really backfired when you have a team that is just on fire like this today. Kind of meet you at your box, right?
Yeah, one team you don't want to run into. Like today, of all the teams, this is the team you do not want to just be running into accidentally as we fly up onto the high ground in the best spot in the lobby right now. Commandment situated up on height as this kind of edge of the third zone is here, as they've now started to see that fourth zone has appeared. You see they're not built in. I think Edgy, no, it was Senta just dropped down there to start building up in Storm, so I think that's going to give them an area that they can connect to and actually stay on height. You do not often see, you really don't see Commandment and this team on high ground very often at all.
Yep, they might be granted a free one here. Now, also notice they do have that natural terrain here to play off of. So a team that is probably more prone to taking this high ground, Nosh, Avery, and Boogie here, as they're starting to slide their way on in. And it's going to come down to who does the homework, who does the scouting first, who realizes that, hey, this is a position worth taking, fighting for. Because right now, there's not a single team that's really poised up to be the high ground team for the half in, half out. So even if you get up just a little bit right now, just have some visuals, that could be huge. But Wrigley, he's going to take advantage of that first stab here. This is exactly what I was talking about. K-Burbs, Wrigley, step on up, dictating just on the heels here. And they have first position here.
Yeah, remember, we mentioned them before, the first 4 games, 0 points. That last game we saw them in, they ended up with a single elimination in 23rd, so they got themselves 7 points. Now they're deeper into this game at the same time, so each game they're establishing their game plan, figuring out a little bit more and, doing a little bit better. Now they're even on height at this time, right? So they could be moving from 33rd all the way up to another position that's not at the bottom of the leaderboard, basically, after this one. So coming to day 2, like, honestly, that could be a huge change. So that could be a big momentum swing. So fingers crossed for those guys. But for Scented Command and Neji, they are currently below Storm Surge and looking like they're going to need to hit some shots.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talk of fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for Edgy, Scented, and Commandment right now. They just need a single tag to at least keep them from getting tagged
Just
up by
one.
the Surge here. And so far, nothing's been revealed to them as far as an opportunity to find a tag here. Commandment, pretty adamant at trying to keep this high ground for the next potential half in, half out pull. 48 below, 57 above now. Okay, so the shots come through. They end up finding something here. They are positioned way up here. They commit to the builds. Nothing comes from it because the zone pulls far. But it's all right. They have so much material here. We should be seeing them set up for the launch pad here soon. I wonder if it's going to be a low pad or a late pad for a high ground snatch. That's going to be the question now.
I'm just wondering more where they're going to be shooting. They're trying to look at this teams who are going to be rotating early, trying to shoot them in the back, but unfortunately they weren't moving at all. So situate up on high ground, that's definitely going to look like a tough one. But again, they're so close, so on the boundary of the Storm Surge. But KO Pledge and Tabs, currently one of the teams who's looking real contention for a top 3. Also looking for some eliminations, trying to go through these old builds, the back of the tarp, the players who are unaware that they're there, and you can see them just playing the angles, playing pumps out. Now other team has no clues. Tragics, Illist as well, which I don't see Macwood. It seems like a full duo, and here we come. They're sneaking in the back. The pre-edit play comes out, and they are wiped so quickly. Look at all of the loot that they've managed to obtain. Capped materials from that. What a fantastic time to go for those eliminations.
Just a huge play. They didn't even have to be that aggressive with the tactic there, but they decided, hey, you know what? We have control of this entire low ground here, and they pulled his own there. But hold up, big sniper shot's going to come through. Justice is going to go down there. Dukes and Users have to play... basically have to play savior here, as DGen, Agers, and Skittles are the team right up above them. Luckily, DGen, Agers, and Skittles did not recognize the fact that the snipe came through, so Dukes gets a virtually free defensive pickup there onto Justice. He gets to get picked up and now back in the game, but that could have been very close for our first place team. Already now, the first team to break 200 points on the day here today.
That's still going to eat away at their heels at the same time, but they're going to start applying that pressure. Everyone who is around them is not safe. We've seen this time and time again from the players who get close. They're just going to get sprayed. They're going to get eliminated. Users, Jukes, and Justice have such good box fighting prowess and end game time. They do. They've got the launch pad. They're understanding the first moving zone.
think they're going to go for it. I think they're going to try to end this game off with a victory royale. I'm not going to lie. They might just be trying to end this one with the bang here to get real flashy with it. They're starting to look on up. That team is not high enough to be protected from this bad if they wanted to go for it. Pay close attention, guys. This wide shot might catch it. There could be a fight that's going to break out here soon for high ground. Out it goes, though. They end up breaking height. Launch pads get thrown out. Jays is fighting for it. Aspect 2 Fishies trying to fight for it. Out comes Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. They might go for it. They see an opportunity here. Acorn lands. He touches down. Down goes Bizzle. Skittles is up for it. Eclipse is now trying to go for it. Squish is going for it. Durant's going for it. Everyone wants a piece of the high ground. Up goes Rocane, Dubs, and Mega now. Position themselves on second height here. That is how quickly high ground can get snatched up. But you saw how many teams were hungry to try and get that win because they need it now.
Where the chaos, the pandemonium, all of the teams up on high ground, completely landing over and over and over again. Users, Jukes, and Dictate landed on low ground, found